What's up, guys? How you all doing? In this video, we will be checking out how to configure our Home Assistant to work with our ESP8622 Wi-Fi enabled module. We'll be looking at how to set up the YAML configuration file, how to set up an MQTT server, and all of that will be coming up right here, right now on MISperry. Alright guys, what we got set up here is we're going to be configuring our Home Assistant. So I've still got my Home Assistant that we use for the Alexa Pi set up in the back room, plugged into my network. So I have SSH'd to it, so I've got ourselves a screen here that we can work with. And we'll be setting this all up. So, as you remember, we need to switch users. I set mine up in a virtual environment. You don't have to set yours up in a virtual environment, but anyway, that was one of the sheet that I followed. You don't have to do it verbatim. It was nice to keep them separate. I might try it without the virtual environment just to see if there's any performance increase or anything like that. But as it stands, I got to switch to that. So we're going to sudo switch user -s to the bin bash home assistant. Theoretically, we should get there. Alrighty then. So now we are in that home directory. We need a cd to the .home assistant directory. Well, hold on. We need to go to home assistant. We need to go to that user, and then we need a cd to the .home assistant directory. All right. So once inside there, we will be able to, well, ls. We will be able to see our configuration.yaml file, and that is the file that we are going to be editing. So we're going to vi the configuration. Oops, helps if I can spell. .yaml file. Alrighty then. So what we're going to look for is we're going to go on down here. First thing we're going to do is we need to set up an MQTT server because that's what we are going to use. For those of you that don't know what that is, let me bring this up. I've also logged in to my Raspberry Pi through the Home Assistant. I just did regular HTTP. I turned off the certificate because my certificate expired. I'll probably have to do a video on how to renew your certificate. But as of right now, I've got it all set up here. But if you want to know more, MQTT servers, MQTT, good old wiki. So MQTT is basically, let's look at good old MQTT.org. So MQTT is a machine-to-machine, M2M, interface, Internet of Things connectivity protocol. It was designed as an extremely lightweight publish/subscribe messaging transport. So yes, that's exactly what this does. This actually is built for transferring data from Internet of Things devices to other things. It's kind of like a protocol. And so that's what we are going to be using. It's very simple to set up. There are more advanced configurations. I will include links down below to the Home Assistant documentation, so that way you can follow along if you want to divert from what we're doing. You can set up an MQTT server yourself. You can host it with a separate server device. You can host it with the Raspberry Pi, which is what we are going to do, and I will show you here in just a second. You can also use an MQTT broker device if you would like, and set it up through that. That's more of an external thing. I think Mosquito is one. In fact, I used it to start with, just playing around with things, and it worked quite well. But if you want it to be more secure, like if you're doing an automated home, like basically what we're doing with Home Assistant, then you probably want to look at setting up your own MQTT server. That way you don't have to worry about people hacking in or getting into stuff and controlling your home and turning your blender on when you've got your finger in it or something like that. Anyway, to avoid those problems, what we're going to do is we will just use the already MQTT server that just comes with Home Assistant. Now, this one is not secured, okay? So if you want a secured one, you'll have to create your own MQ, and it's in the documentation. It's down below. You have to create your own instance of it and do SSL keys and all that jargon, which I don't know. If you guys want, let me know in the comments. If you guys want to know how to do all that, I'll see if I can't set it up, and I'll throw a video up of how to do your own server with SSL and all that stuff and security and everything. But for this, we're just wanting it to work. So for this video, we're just gonna look at making it work. Anyway, so it is actually super easy to do this. It is, you just literally type MQTT : that's it. That's it. I mean, I have some of the broker stuff. Like what I said, I was playing around with Mosquito, and playing around with certificates and different things and whatnot, doing that through that service. But you actually don't need it. I can actually delete all this. It's totally fine. You just need to type MQTT:. And basically what it does is in the configuration, when you load this up, it reads that you want to enable MQTT. It sees that you haven't defined a broker or anything like that, so it just sets up the already installed MQTT server and Bob's your uncle. So basically, all you have to remember is the IP of your Pi is the IP address of your MQTT server. Okay, so real simple. So now what we got to do is we got to add this because we got to add a button to our page. So what we have to do is you just add this piece of code. Hopefully this is large enough for you guys. But you add the dash platform because we're going to start a new platform. Like up here, we had our Raspberry Pi GPIO buttons. So we start a new platform. This platform is MQTT. Okay, so you use that header. And then you give it a name, a state topic, command topic, QoS, which is basically a QoS priority, and you'll just give it 0. The payload on, payload off, what those are going to be, and optimistic is false, and then the false retain true. Okay, now I'm going to be honest with you. I have absolutely no idea what optimistic and false retain true does. I may try it without it, see what happens. But I know that for a fact that payload on, payload off, the state topic and command topic are an actual thing you have to have, otherwise this will not work. So what I'm doing is I am naming it. MQTT name is switch 1. This will appear, I believe, it should appear in your list on your web page, so that you know what it is. So you can name it. I just named it switch 1. You can name it living room lighting, fireplace, whatever it is, or humidity sensor, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can name it. Then what you want to do is the state topic and command topic. You want to, this is what you're going to put into the Arduino code, which I will show you here in a minute, for the ESP8622 device, because this is the command, or basically the string that it's going to talk back and forth between HomeAssistant and the Wi-Fi enabled device. And that way the Wi-Fi enabled device will get this command and it will respond to it and either close relay, set GPIO high or low, which is what we're going to do. We're going to set a GPIO pin on and off. And I have down here in the corner, right below here, down there, I have a LED set up on one of the GPIO pins that's on the ESP8622. So, okay, so that's all we had. So HA/switch 1 is what I'm calling it. So HomeAssistant switch 1, easy enough. So that's the command that basically we're going to be handing back and forth. Okay, so once you've done that, oops, well, oh yeah, we deleted that stuff, so I need to write it. So we can right quit that, and then what you have to do, you can do that check thing. Let's see if I remember what it is. So it's HASS, and then I think it is scripts check config. I hope that's right. I think so. And basically what this does is without restarting HomeAssistant, it will test your code. It's kind of like compiling in a way. It'll test the YAML file and make sure that it's going to work properly. And while that's doing that, let me go ahead and move this along. Let's go ahead and bring up, oh, and I typed it incorrectly. All right, so let's type this correctly here. I don't think it's scripts. I think it's just script. I think that was, oh, I think that was just me. I think it's script. Check config. I believe I can fly. No. Anyway, okay, so I've got our Arduino code up here as well. Oops, except that's the wrong thing. Hold on, give me a second while that's configuring. So there it goes, testing configuration. That's what I thought. There was no S. So let me open. Oh, good heavens. I got to open it. Give me just a second. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, set everything up, set up the MQTT server, set up recorder, all that jazz. So there was no errors. So that means that we're good, and we can stop and restart this. So what we can do is we will do a sudo. Here, let's do this. Let's get out of that because we don't need to be in that anymore. So sudo, it's going to be systemctl. We're going to stop HomeAssistant@pi. If you remember, this is the name that I gave that. If you don't know, check out my videos on how to set up Home Assistant initially. This is betting on that you've already got Home Assistant installed, set up, and running properly. So if you haven't seen that video, check that video out. It'll tell you all of the stuff and what I'm doing if you haven't seen it before. So we're going to do that. That's going to stop our Home Assistant, which I don't know if you saw that, but down here in the corner it says connection lost. Okay, so we're going to do that. And now if you want to check and make sure it's absolutely stopped, you can do a sudo system, oh my goodness, system, CTL, status, home, and you can see stopped Home Assistant. See down there at the bottom? If I can get it over here, stopped Home Assistant. It is stopped. So anyway, so now that it's stopped, we can fire it back up. And I'll show you how to monitor it, just like the other video. I'll show you how to monitor it while it starts back up. So now we need sudo instead of stop. We'll make that start. So we're going to... you can hear my 3D printer in the background. I'm 3D printing some stuff out, so I apologize for the noise, but I got to do both of these at the same time. So we're going to start that. Now, we also want to check this out. So I believe the command is sudo system... journal CTL -F and then -H or -U for user Home Assistant @pi. I believe that's right. There we go. And so now you can actually watch it enable Home Assistant. I'll show you that command again just in case you missed it. So basically, once it gets to the point where it's listening, oh, I think I just saw it. I saw it boogie by. Or not. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm crazy. That's true. But basically, it's going to load all the components. You should see in this, now mine, since I've already loaded it, it's probably going to zip by pretty quick, but you should see it loading the MQTT server. It should say that it's found that, and it's loading it, and installing it, and blah, 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 and all that stuff. So you should see this come all the way up, and it should go into a listening state. So while that's doing that, let's leave that in the background. Let's go ahead and check out this code that we got going on here. So, oh, there's updates. Well, magnificent. I'll do that later. All right, let's make this big where we can actually see what's happening. All right, so got my temporary Wi-Fi settings in up at the top. Now, if you haven't seen the video on how to set up the ESP8622, I recommend checking it out. This is before this one. So check that out. Now, down into where we get going into the meat of things. What we will do is we will have our... let's see, that's the setup Wi-Fi deal. And I'll post all this code. You'll be able to use this to your own benefit here. Okay, there's the setup command. You'll have all these different pieces. Now, the things that you have to make sure that you are putting in correctly is going to be down through here in all the MQTT setup stuff. So it's going to do the Wi-Fi connect and all that stuff. Here's the callback. The payload, blah, blah, blah. Okay, right here. So you need this str topic, okay? Remember us talking about the topic string and whatnot? Let's look back into here. I think this thing's restarted by now. So let's cd to home assistant dot home assistant. And let's view the YAML file real fast. All right, I'm going to go down the bottom here. Okay, state topic is HA/switch1, okay? So that's what we have in here, HA/switch1, okay, for the str topic, because that is our topic that we got. Okay, so that's what we do. So if you want to label this something different, like fireplace or something like that, or it doesn't even have to be HA/, it can be whatever, just as long as this and these, oops, I can't really see my cursor on this, and those match. They have to make sure and match, okay? So make sure those match, and then you're golden, okay? So once we get done with that, then we go down here and we check out the reconnect deal here, and it says attempting to connect to blah, 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 blah. This is basically when it's going to try to connect to your server, to your MQTT server. Now, this is all pretty well set up. Subscribe to HA/number. You know, honestly, actually, that may be, I take that back. I take that back. Because of that statement, you may have to say HA/. And that probably pre needs to be there because of that. Okay, I haven't really played around with the code a whole lot. I literally just cut and pasted it, and it works. So it's, you know, hey, if it works, don't fix it. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So there's all that, and there's all the delay and all the jazz and trying again in 5 seconds and all that blah, 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 blah. Now, you do have to set up the MQTT server. Yeah, it's up here. So, yeah, up here, right here. So your MQTT server is right there. Okay, so I put in the IP address of my Pi because, right, we just enabled the MQTT server that is on the Home Assistant. So you need to put that in here. So that way it knows which server it needs to contact to deliver, you know, or to receive information from and whatnot. So it needs to know what that is. So that's pretty much it. The rest of this is just kind of cut and paste. Like I said, I'll post this code. I'll probably put a link in the description as to where the code is. I'm going to try to get on to GitHub. I think that's kind of a better place to put code instead of the MediaFire, because I noticed that a lot of people firewall off MediaFire. So yeah, that's bad. So we'll see if we can't get this out on that deal. So that's all you got to do. So you put in your SSID and your password. You put in your MQTT server, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and make sure and label, where was that at? There it is. Make sure and label this whatever you've labeled it. Make sure that it matches the state topic and command topic in your .yaml file. And Bob's your uncle. There you go. So then all you got to do is flash the device over here, or I guess down there. You just have to flash that. Check out that video previously to this, how to upload Arduino code to your ESP8622 and or 8266, whatever it is. Anyway, once you get that uploaded, then all you have to do, of course, once you get Home Assistant restarted, you go to your Home Assistant, log in. I've got my login now, if I can remember what it is. I think I fat fingered. Oh, no, I didn't. Login attempt failed. Game over. That's fine. So there we go. So there's the MQTT switch. Hopefully you guys can see that. My video isn't in the way, but there it is. Okay, so now what I'm going to do to prove to you that I do not have this plugged into my computer or anything like that, what I've done is I have isolated it. I used one of these cool little buck boost little things from ICStation. These things are great, actually. In fact, I think I did a review of this thing a while back. But anyway, these things are great. You can just set what voltage you want, and off you go. So I've got it hooked to a 9 volt. Got it set for 3 volts. This little guy's going to boot. Yep, looks like he's probably booted up. Now, the theory goes, when I click this switch, my LED should turn on. And this is completely wireless. As you can see, it's not connected to anything. It is literally on a battery. It's not connected to anything, so it's literally going over my Wi-Fi. I push the button, and the light comes on. And it's pretty darn responsive, too. Like, if you look at that, I mean, I no more click it. Like, watch the button switch. I no more click it, and that light goes on and off. I mean, I'm clicking it pretty fast. So that's pretty good, and that's pretty darn responsive. However, the thing is, the MQTT server is on the same network, right, because it's a Raspberry Pi, as this. Now, if you're dealing with Mosquito or something like that, where it has to go outside, then turn around and come back inside and all that stuff, you could experience a little bit longer of a delay on it. But, I mean, that's pretty darn quick. I mean, no more do I click it, and maybe, I don't know, what, 100 milliseconds later it turns on and off, maybe? I don't know. I threw that out there. I have no idea. But that's pretty darn quick. So anyway, so there you go, guys. That's how you do it. We'll see if we can't check out a next video. We'll see if we can't maybe integrate this into Alexa, you know, where you can say, Alexa, activate switch 1 or whatever. Ask Home Assistant to activate switch 1. Whatever. Something like that. We'll add some Alexa-ness to it. And we'll see if we can't get Alexa to be able to turn Wi-Fi enabled things on and off. So anyway, guys, that's all the time I have for this video. Hope that you enjoyed it. Check this out. Take this for a spin. Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you had any trouble with it, if you've configured it, how your successes, your struggles, you know, let me know. I really enjoy reading all the comments. The comments are fantastic, and I love replying to them when I can. There's been times where I've gotten tied up and I haven't been able to, but I think I've been doing pretty good here lately. Been able to reply to the majority of them. So yeah, you have any questions, comments, whatever? Oh, and everybody feel free to comment on each other's comments. It's fine. I mean, I'm not the end all be all. I don't know everything. I'm learning just alongside as all you guys. So if you see somebody and you know the answer, by all means, throw it in there. The only way we learn is by talking to each other and struggling, unfortunately. Anyway, all right, guys, that's all the time I got. Thank you very much. Make sure and like, subscribe, and share the videos. It really helps the channel. Make sure and check me out on Twitter and Instructables. Definitely Twitter, because I post a lot of stuff. I post random pictures of funny things. I also post work that I'm doing, like the 3D print job behind me. I've been posting different things about what that is. You'll have to go to Twitter to find out. But anyway, check me out there and definitely follow me, because that way you don't miss any updates or any quick little things that I can't roll into a video and edit and get it out there. I just throw it into Twitter. So definitely check me out there. Google Plus I try to hit up, but not as much as Twitter. I'm more active on Twitter than I am Google Plus. But check me out in all those places. And guys, make sure to keep building, keep innovating, and keep coding, because that's what it's all about. That's what this is all about. The fun of electronics. Electronics are fun. It's just amazing. The world we live in right now, technology is just at a level that is just, it's really impressive. So take care, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.